The following is a special presentation. We're going to review the askSlim DayTrader Service 2.0. You can get information on how to join by going to the askSlim.com website and then just scroll down to the membership area, which I'm doing right here, and then you will see all of our membership options. What you want to do is look at DayTrader and then scroll down a little further, click Read More, and that will take you to the DayTrader information right here where you can see everything about our DayTrader membership, and then have the ability also to sign up. So that's where you go to get the information for DayTrader. And I hope that you love what we're going to show you right now. DayTrader Training. We're going to look at full day reviews of April 3rd and April 4th of this year using the DayTrader replay system, which is really fantastic. You'll get a good look at this as we move forward. In previous DayTrader lessons, we went over explanation of the strategies, intraday swing trade style, and also some information we have on there for scalpers, and applying it to the DayTrader information using the impulse monitor and the SIR price zone map. And what we want you to do, if you go back and review those, is understand the sizing when you want to use smaller or bigger trades, and the value in seeing the energetic conditions in all of the indexes. And the fact that you don't really have to be in a position all of the time, and actually this helps you decide when to be out of the market. And the goal is to ride the bigger impulses for the larger profit. Choppier days may not yield much profit, and I'll show you that as we look at a choppy day. Or you might even have a small loss on those days, but trending days allow for much bigger wins. And getting a 50-50 hit rate or larger, and I'll talk more about that, will yield profits. And the goal is to get to a 1.3% times your win versus your loss. So if you are going to lose $1, you're going to make $1.30 essentially. So that's just what we want to look at, is how to improve that hit rate, wins and losses, and also the size of the win versus the size of the loss. So talk about that in previous lessons, and I'm going to talk about that also as we move forward here. And we want to give you help in avoiding being on the wrong side for a big loss, which is a lot of problems for traders. And if you miss the exact timing of a turn in the market, it really doesn't matter. This is going to help you still decide with what direction you want to be in and what vehicle you want to be trading, and you won't catch every single wiggle. And trying to do so is actually a losing strategy, though a lot of intraday traders try to do exactly that. Today's key points is, well, why did we develop the DayTrader system? Well, that's to help traders overcome some of the greatest challenges. And that is to improve your market feel, improve the directional decisions, and the choice you have of vehicles. In other words, what index do you want to trade, or is there a stock that you want to trade, and why would you make those directional decisions? It will give you a model for a trading strategy, but you can use your own. My model that I put on here is an 8-minute strategy, but if you are a level 4 member, you can ask us for that particular grid, and you can change the time frames on there to use whatever time frame that you want to, or use your own strategy with the momentum conditions that we show you. I believe it will be a big help to you. And it's understanding a paradigm shift. So many of traders, when they start to trade intraday, day trading, scalping, they use oscillators. In other words, what they try to look for is where a stochastics or CCI or relative strength gets to overbought or oversold, and then fade that in the market. That causes huge problems for traders and is a big source of traders losing and even quitting trading. So our use of trading is not much use of oscillators. In fact, basically none. We do put in a variation of stochastics on one of our charts, which is really a stochastics momentum indicator. And that's why we do allow it. But most of the oscillators will cause a lot of problems for traders because they're trading against the trend. And it only works in a choppy market, a choppy, narrow range market. Instead, trades using our approach are taken mostly in the direction of market momentum. And I say mostly because in past training videos, I've showed you that there are times when you can take a counter trend trade, but that is always smaller than what your normal trading unit is. The idea is to be much more positive overall on your results because you have bigger wins and you improve the win size versus the loss size. Talk about that in a second. And choppy days, I'm reiterating this, will be hard days, and that's okay because those days don't yield a lot as far as momentum goes. The market is not able to hold inertia on those days, and it chops around, and our system or any system that you look at will give a signal, and then the signal doesn't really yield a whole lot, and then the signal goes off. And then you're back to being out of position with maybe a small loss or a small win or a scratch, whatever it might be, and that's okay. And the idea is to know that over the long run this is going to yield a profit for you. But how do you really know? Well, that's because you're going to do forward testing versus back testing. Most people back test systems and they go back and say, well, the math works. If you buy it under these conditions and sell it under these conditions, it should yield a profit, and that's okay. But the problem is that most of us are human beings, we're not robots, and we need to forward test our results, and that means making a commitment that we are going to trust that the math will work, or trust that taking a significant number of trades in a particular approach to a market will then teach us more. We'll be able to improve on that or tweak it, and that over the long run, we'll be able to see that the approach is going to work for us. So I say for forward testing, it's a minimum of 50 trades. And you can make minor adjustments along the way. It's just to where you would want to take an entry, where you would want to avoid an entry, how you want to use the information to exit your trades, all of those things. There's a lot of little tweaks that you can make in there. But using the overall approach is something that you really need to commit to for a minimum of 50 trades. The goal is to get a 1.3 to 1 ratio win rate and win size rate. So, for example, if you take 50 trades and you're getting approximately that ratio, you're going to have basically 5-6 scratch trades in there or something like that. A scratch trade is a win or a loss of, 1 or 2 units, something like that. It's not very much, whatever your unit size is, or unit amount of money that you lose. Let's say it's, somewhere around 50 or 75 bucks. I would call that a scratch trade if you're trading the E-minis. And then getting 26 wins versus 19 losses. And that yield of 50 trades should be about 15 units positive if you're getting, 26, 19, and 5, and your wins are about 1.3 times the size of your losses. But you have to keep data in order to really understand that. So figure out how you're going to track that data and commit to at least 50 trades, maybe 100 trades, while you're using the DayTrader system or any system in order to really be able to tell if something is working for you and allow it to teach you. That's really the key. The information is really good in our system, but you have to let it teach you how to use it. And that means going back and reviewing. And I'm going to show you how you do that with our system, because we built this so that you can go back and review the day and really be able to tell how you could have improved your approach. So we're going to look at two different types of days, chop day and a trend day, looking at the April 3rd and April 4th. So let's start with the choppy day. So the first thing that I want to do is go to the DayTrader system. So I'm going to do that right over here. So I'm in my dashboard. I've scrolled to the DayTrader system. It's up near the top of the dashboard. And I want to go specifically to the replay system. Now, here's your impulse monitor right over there, where that will then, if you're using the impulse monitor, you open that up during the regular market hours and it's live right there. Or you could be using the cockpit with the whole thing, and that's put out on Zoom. And broadcast all day long. And then what we do is we take snapshots of that, and that is the replay system right over here. So I want to open that up for you to see. And this is the replay system. You can see all the days in here are kept, and I'm going to open up the 4-3 first so we can review that one. And this is the DayTrader cockpit right over there, and you can see all the days right over here that you could simply review. Let's again look at what you see on this cockpit and what we're going to review. And you see this scroll bar over here. It allows me to advance through the day. And that's what I want to do, is talk about this particular day, which is a choppy day, and I don't think yield did a real lot, but some decent trades. And again, this is the impulse monitor over here. For the first 10 minutes of the day, it is grayed out. We want the energies of the previous day to be able to settle down, and we want to encourage you not to trade in that first 10 minutes, or maybe not even the first 20 minutes of the day. This is my model, trading model. It's an 8-minute strategy, and this is the thinkorswim grid. And again, level 4 members can ask us for this grid, and you could change the time frame on it if you don't like 8 minutes, or you don't like the timing of the defaults on the studies that we put in there. And we look for alignments in here of the different indicators. This is the S&P 500, the QQQ, the IWM, and the diamond. So there's 4 of them. And we have our reversal scout in there. We have the slim ribbon PO on the bottom. And then we have our timing line right in over here. On the top of the chart. So when all 3 are in alignment, this is green, this is green, this is rising, it's trade on. And then this will light up, either green or red, or yellow if there's no trade on at all. So that's the 8-minute strategy, and it gives you a great sense for that. So when this is green, it's telling you that the swing trade energies are positive, and then this is green and it's trade on, you have a pretty good condition. And then over here is the price zone map, which has 15-minute charts on it, and this has our swing trade reversal scout right over here and our scalp reversal scout right over there. So that's got all of that. It has the support and resistance zones. The yellow areas are acceleration zones, so when it goes through there into the yellow, there's a very good chance it's going to travel most of the way or all the way through the yellow zone. So that gives you a good sense of being able to take a little further ride on a trade. And then as you get into the intensity of resistances there, or the intensity of the supports there, there's these dark lines right over here that help you see when they're going through and getting towards the what may be the next level in the acceleration zone. So this is just a wealth of information to give you market feel. What we want you to do is decide what direction you want to be in. Again, we're not looking for chop. We're looking for being able to catch the momentum, even if it chops and costs us money, because we're looking for the bigger trades. And we want you to be able to see what to trade. In other words, if the market looks bullish and you're positive, you don't want to buy the weakest of the indexes. You want to buy the strongest of them. And if you want to do a pair trade and you have one that's negative and one that's positive, you can do that. So that is the DayTrader cockpit. So let's start to go through this right now and to get a sense for what we're learning in here as we go through the day. So you can see it's set at 9:30 a.m., that's Central Time, and we can actually scroll through the day, as you see, as each of these are 5 minutes indicators. So let's go back over here. We see where it turns on right over here, and we see the early market conditions are that the energies are saying that for swing trades, the energy is positive. So we'd only be looking for long side trades. No, if you're a day trader or a scalper, day trader meaning you trade for the swings, or a scalper, you're only going to hold for a few minutes. You want to be on the right side of those. So being on the right side means you have an advantage. There's an edge because of market inertia. It's very hard to pick the exact moment something will stop, but it's pretty easy to say if something has inertia, it will continue. Newton's law. So let's look at what we have right over here, and you can see the IWM says turbo on. What that says to us is that for a brief period there is extra energy, and in this case extra buying, coming in that direction. So, and you can see the charts as they begin to form in here, and when you get into the white area, it's kind of a middle area where there's no support, no resistance, could easily move in either direction in there, and you could see that based on the upward turn from the previous day, the reversal scout is positive right over there. Now you had a negative scalp, reversal scout scalp right over there, but you can see the IWM is not as negative, and you would expect that that would begin to turn positive. So let's move through the day here. You could see here that what happened is that the turbo went off on the IWM, so some of that extra energy didn't yield a whole lot, and still positive. And now you see the QQQ is going neutral, and that says to you that that really looks like the weakest of the indexes. And you could see that in here as the reversal scout scalp is turning down harder than any of these. So you look for the confirmations in there to really help you. The only trade-on conditions are right over here and here, and that doesn't look like it's going to last very long when I see the conditions of these things turning down. So that says to me that there's some we need to see these things align before we're really going to make any kind of a trade. So now you could see there's an improvement in here. Turbo went on here at this time frame, which was at 10 a.m. So this is a half hour into the market, and turbo's going on 3 of the indexes, not on the QQQ. You see the QQQ still looks weaker. You want to buy, you're not going to buy the QQQ. It's a bad risk reward versus buying one of the other indexes. So we're looking at that. We have a trade on condition right over there, and you can see that our system is a little bit ahead of Thinkorswim. So sometimes you'll get those, as you had right over here, our data coming in a little bit ahead of time where they were turning green, and now you see the upturns here in the timing line right over there as you see that. So these are all positive. This is giving you positive conditions. Back over here at 10 a.m. you can see that. Now watch how these indexes are jumping. You could see on the right as it was telling you that the energy was coming in on the upside. And that was just beautiful information that if you were thinking about buying or selling, it was telling you buying was the right side, and that was really clear. And you could see here as the market has been moving up and now moving up into the resistances. Turbo is still on here at 1020, 1035. Turbo has went off on the diamonds. We only have the SPX, NDX, and RUT on the price zone map. There's not enough room to put the Dow on there right now. But you could see, look at the trade conditions are positive right in here, and the likelihood of continuation to the upside was strong. You can see here that through the acceleration zone, that's what we would have expected right there, and the market turning positive there. So now, we're on the long side. We're looking for indications that, well, we might get an exit. You could see even more buying coming in as the turbo now is going on across the board. So there's buying coming in all the indexes. The 8-minute strategy has been in trade on positive during this whole period of time. Here's 11 a.m., 11:05, moving up into resistance areas right over there. Now we're seeing a little bit of downticks, turbo going off, and see the trade went neutral there on the IWM. So we're getting a sign that IWM might be the one that may be weakening in here. You can see reversal scout scalp flattening out there on the IWM. And then as we move forward here, now you could see the SPY and the diamonds, they have gone neutral. That upward green arrow says there is some probability that there would be a resumption on the upside. Trade is neutral as the timing line has come down right over here. And for those people that were in this long side trade way from over here, you're getting indications here and here and here that the trade is over. In other words, you had a nice trade. You learned, to get in the right direction. You got a sense for what was the best, the strongest or the weakest indexes as you got into this. And now it really looks to me like it's over. I don't really review going forward here. I don't really know what's going to happen the rest of the day because I didn't want to have too much information to bias me when I was doing this review, but look at how neutral everything is right now. Here we are at just coming up to noon, midday right over here as the market begins to get quiet. You could see the failure here from resistance. This one didn't get quite up into that higher resistance area, so we're getting a little sense IWM might be weaker right in there. Again, we always want to make these assumptions. We still have positive conditions right over here, except the timing line has turned down right over there, that top line on the trade strategy. So that's why it's neutral right now. So that might be telling you the next thing is happening. Now see the diamond right over there? See that arrow disappeared? When that arrow disappears, it's telling you that it is right now has the conditions that are weaker than the other indexes. We always want to keep in mind what that information is. Look at them turning down from here. Now the up arrows are only left on the QQQ. That might be telling us it is the strongest, but they're all neutral. It doesn't really matter. We're under neutral conditions right now, and we're moving forward, and everything is neutral here. You can see the resistance that you got there at the daily. So you had a decent trade. It wasn't a giant trade, but you could see the resistances were not real far away. So they started to stall in there. And here you see the IWM turning green right there. Trade is not on in there yet. So a little sense there's a little bit of buying coming in IWM, but then it disappears as I go 5 minutes further. You see the scroll bar right over here allows me to go through the day. There's IWM buying coming back in. So again, now if I wanted to be a buyer, I would say IWM looks better than the other ones. I'm not sure it's going to yield a trade, but everything else is neutral here, and we're in resistance. So do you really want to take much of a long side trade in here? I don't think so. I don't think the overall conditions are telling you to do so. Right over here, we're starting to get things just turning up a little bit, but we're chopping right in here, as you could see. Everything is neutral. The impulse monitor, neutral. Trade strategy, neutral right over there. Not a lot right over here to really give you a good sense of anything to do. Again, we're staying out of the market if the market is telling us to do so. We keep getting these little signals on IWM, which then says to me that there's some small cap buying coming in during the day. But again, up in resistance, do we really want to do anything? I don't think so. Not much going on in here. Again, chopping around, no information. The strategy, Slim's 8-minute strategy just went green there, but you're under neutral conditions on the impulse monitor, SPY and QQQ. So that says that the bigger forces are really not turning up in here. So you're not really going to take the trade right when you see that. And now look what's going on here. The diamond has selling coming in, and IWM has buying coming in. You can see that. So one is positive, one's negative. That says to me paired trade potential. Buy IWM, short the Dow, and that might be valuable. The only way to see the Dow on this chart is right on here that you can see. So if you're looking at IWM right over here or IWM right over here, you could see that the reversal scout is turned up, but you're in resistance right over there. But that's more positive than you see here in the Dow, which is turned down right over there. So that gives you this indication. And the diamonds are actually trade on negative, as you can see. So this is giving you some indication. If there was a trade here in resistances, it would be short DIA. That's the one that pops up for me at this moment. A lot of you are only going to be trading the E-minis or QQQs or the NASDAQ E-minis, and don't look at the other ones, the RTYs or the Diamond Futures, the Dow Futures. But it's really important, as you could see, to be able to trade all of them. Now I'm just going to advance a little more here, and you can see that they're not really moving a lot here. The diamonds are still negative. IWM has gone neutral. Nothing really happening in these charts. That resistance really looks like it's meaningful. The SPY just went turbo on, negative, and the trade strategy negative at 3:05 p.m. You can see there selling coming in the QQQ at 3:10 p.m. And then look at the selling come in at that time. You see how here at 3:05, it's let's go to 2:55, let's go to 3 o'clock. Here's your indication things were turning negative. In resistances, that's the key. You're in the resistances right over here, and these are now turning over. Reversal scout swing had turned over. Reversal scout scalp moving down. Turbo on selling here in the SPY and in the diamonds. You have neutral conditions here, so you would probably pick the SPY or the E-mini S&P to be on the short side right there. And look what's going on here as this turns down. Right there. Overall, a choppy day, but two real trades that came in as this market turns down right over there and is negative. Here's 3:45 p.m., 3:50 p.m., and you get these upward turns here in the scalp right there, and that probably says to you as the trade went off right there. Let's go back here. 3:45 trade still. Trade went off on the S&P 500. 350, you have this upward turn in the scalp right there, and that says to you here at the end of the day, probably trade off at this point. You're taking your profits and you're done, and our system is going to go gray here as the market is closing. You could see right there, it goes gray 5 minutes before there, and the trade is over. So that is a look at that particular day. I hope that going over it that way was really helpful to you. Now let's advance this over to a trending day. So that was a choppy day. Then, kind of got up in the resistance areas, had a trade in the morning, the previous day on the 3rd, and then a trade in the afternoon. And the market was really telling you. It's really... our system doesn't say buy here and sell here. It says these are the conditions. We want to position ourselves to be able to catch the bigger trades. Bigger wins than losses. More often have wins than losses. You can't help but make money under those conditions. Let's take a look now as we look at the trading day here in the replay system. And we're going to go to the next day, which is the 4th, right over here, and look at that day. And we'll just bring this up right over here so that we can review that whole day right there. And you can see the whole thing right over here. Again, this is the scroll bar across. I don't know anywhere else where you can look at such important indicators all day long. As a matter of fact, these are filling out during the day. So, if you're noon, you're going to see everything that happened up till that point on the day. It's taking pictures of what's going on throughout the day, and you'll be able to go back on that day and review it. So here we are again. What we see is that the previous day, remember, we had that negative movement late in the day. As you could see, that's the previous day right over there. And you can see that the resistances are right here, right there. Here's your upside acceleration zones, your downside acceleration zones. And this is kind of a tight white area in there, so you're going to quickly get into these acceleration zones on this particular day. Matt does this before the opening every single day, looking at those key areas and where there may be voids in the market, and he puts those in there. Those are the yellow zones, and the important support and resistance lines, as you could see in there, or zones that you can see in there. So it gets through a line, it's likely to go through on the accelerations. So this is, again, April 4th right over there, as you can see. And let's just take a look here as we advance through this day. So here we are on the opening. The market opens higher. As you can see, the upside gaps right in here. the market moving up. Turbo is on an IWM, but again, in the first few minutes of the day, there isn't a massive amount of value in what you're looking at, and here you kind of have to let the dust settle. You can see we moved up way where you opened up right there and there, so you're already in the resistances. It gapped up through the acceleration zone, so you don't really get a lot of opportunity to take advantage of that, but you might on the downside were the market to turn weak. So here you could see everything is green. Let me just get so I could see the time on here. Everything is green. It's at 9:55 a.m. at this point, and the market is still looking like it's in decent shape here as it keeps moving upwards. And you can see the buying coming in here as turbo goes on at 10:05 p.m. Remember, the markets tend to attract buyers in the morning when they're strong because people don't want to miss the big upside moves. So sometimes you'll get the turbo coming on as some extra energy, extra buying comes in, and that's what you see going on here. So turbo went off there at 10:20 a.m., but everything is still in positive condition, even with the markets trying to pull back just a tiny little bit. And here you see the scalp. Each of them has flattened out right there. But positive is what you see here. The market looks like it wants to move up, and you could see you would expect it to try to move up again. This is giving an indication that trades may go off at any second, and there you could see that happen. Again, if you're using the 8-minute strategies right over here are not exactly timed with our system here. So sometimes you might see this roll over a little sooner or a little bit later right there, but eventually within a few minutes that will catch up. So trade is off right over here. The reversal scalp has turned down. So here, you see the energies really look like they're to the upside. You probably wouldn't be shorting right here. You'd be, waiting maybe for an opportunity. You see the SPY and the QQQ at 11 o'clock now has gone neutral with the upside arrow, which means there's a probability it will turn green again versus turning yellow or red. And you could see them all kind of going neutral right over here. Here we're at 11:10, 11:20. All neutral, and now you're starting to see these things on the scalp roll over, but the swing trade is still positive right in there, and you're in resistance. You're not getting a lot of information here. I don't really see much in here. I figure if I take a trade at this point, it's a 50-50 chance it's going to be correct. I don't have a lot of information right there. I see a little bit of changes going on here. Now you see some strengthening going on as reversal scalp begins to turn up in here, and then turbo goes on, so buying is coming in again. The market is moving up again. So you can see the indication right in here at 11:55. Let's see where these went on. So at 11:35, the strategy was still neutral. Everything was neutral. It gave a sense that upward was going to be the direction. It turned up again. And you could see here at 11:50, and there's at noon, you have more strengthening going on. And the upside is taking over again, as you can see right in here. Turbo on, and the scalp had turned up about 3 15-minute bars previous before that. So that's it. IWM beginning to weaken a little bit in here. And you can see that they're not able to get up into that next acceleration zone right there, having a little bit of a struggle. Now we're starting to lose the upside. The scalp turned over just now in the at 1:15, the scalp turned to the downside on the IWM. That's the rut. And things are neutralizing again. And now you're noticing in here the scalp turning over, the resistance areas right over here. Pretty key. The trade strategy is neutral. These are all neutral. The only thing that we have in here is that maybe QQQ is a little bit stronger than the other ones, but not much, and that's not much to trade on in here. So now we see it's starting to roll over. And look at the diamonds. They just went turbo on. So there's selling coming in the Dow. And you can see this is the Dow right over here as it's been moving down, and the trade strategy is negative. So if you want it to be a seller, it would be the Dow right now. That would be the ones you would sell. Now here you could see at 2 o'clock that's neutral. At 2:05, turbo is on, scalps are turning down. The QQQ is still giving an indication it's the strongest. Do you want to sell based on all these? You won't sell the QQQ because it is showing a little bit more strength. Again, we're looking at the potential for having the bigger trades. We always want to use the edges that we're getting information here, and now the QQQ turned on negative. So if you go back over here at 1:45 or 2 o'clock, and you could see where these prices are right over here, you're just getting down through this acceleration zone, entering it here and here, right over there, and now you could see it just accelerating to the downside in a big way. This is telling you there's a lot of selling coming in. You would only take short side trades. There's no reason to do anything but short side trades when you're looking at this. Reversals from resistances, easily moving down through acceleration zones, and now it's keeping you short. It's keeping you short. This trade is becoming enormous. It's keeping you short. And there you can see this is 3:50 p.m. right over here. It kept you short through the close. This huge trade on the downside. It never told you to cover. Reversal scout scalp stayed negative the whole time period. Reversal scout swing negative the whole time period. The 8-minute strategies kept keeping you in the short side trade, and then turbo going on or off in here, but basically the impulse monitor being negative through that whole period, and then waves of selling as the turbo goes back on again, giving you a good indication right over there through the close. And again, a momentum day on the downside that caught enormous trade as this was giving you that great information for that. That is the day trading review for April 4th, as you can see. So this, as you can see, I was working on this on March 5th. And that is what I think a great look at the way that you use the day trading information. The idea is that you're going to position yourself for the big impulses. The system tells you in a lot of ways what direction you want to be in, what index you want to be in, and even if there's one strong and one weak and you want to kind of put on a neutral position, and a lot of times you can see the Dow is much stronger than the S&P, so you might want to buy diamonds and sell S&Ps, or the reverse when they're in that way, so you get that great amount of information. That is a look at today's day trader training. I would love to get your comments on this, so you can send them to team@askSlim.com, and that would help us to really know what value you got out of this type of training. Thank you for watching. Well, I'm going to sit